Hi there, and welcome to the Get Rich with Fitness seminar. Today, we're going through the rules to get rich in fitness. Number 1, find something that relatively few adults can do, but all babies can. Number 2, convince the adults that can't that they've lost it and it needs to be regained. Number 3, charge them boatloads for your expertise to find it. I'm a big fan of Gray Cook and the FMS, Functional Movement Screen, which has become one of the de facto elementary testing grounds for the functional strength movement as a whole. Here's the problem though with any movement. It's always people that miss the original intention and use it for their own purposes. Case in point, the overhead squat screen. Gray Cook started as a physical therapist and he was trying to find a way to prevent injuries before they happened rather than just treating them once they had. He devised a screen to flag up dysfunctional movement patterns that if left unchecked and overloaded over time would have a strong relationship with injury. That is innovative and admirable. However, this prediction tool is now being used by some to scare potential clients into buying services, which I'm sure wasn't the original intention. The deep overhead squat test is the shakiest of all the tests. Vastly open to the interpretation of the invigilator, it can either give you a very good predictor of problems or can be used to justify just about anything. Millions of people, mostly in the third world and Southeast Asia, can squat ATG comfortably. Most first worlders can't. Out of those millions that can, the number that can do it without buttwink though, is very small. There are a select number of people in the world that have the personal anthropometry, femur and acetabular orientation, and the mobility to squat ATG without a buttwink. These guys, if they're lucky, use their gifts to become Olympic weightlifters. If not, it's a good party trick. For everyone else, there'll be degrees in natation or buttwink as they squat deeper. Give the person a dowel rod above their head, taking even more slack out of the system, and the number that can perform this gets dramatically smaller. The greatest sales tool that the health and fitness industry has to sell services is to find something that only a few people can do or have access to and sell that as a prerequisite to health. And that is what the overhead squat test is. The moment that you take something that has a lot of variables to success, most of those variables unable to be changed, then add in the ability to see problems and nitpick on form, and you have a cash-making business. There's a reason why most people who struggle to squat ATG unassisted are fine as soon as you give them a counterweight, like a kettlebell, or allow them to change stance. And it has nothing to do with some inherent lurking defect in their movement pattern. It's because their femurs are too long, their torsos are too short, and their heads aren't heavy enough for their adult bodies. And if you've got a functional movement specialist that claims they're going to solve that by signing you up to a functional movement program, look for the bone saw. It's easy to find fault, and easier still to find it in a test that requires favourable mechanics to pass it. If you come across a specialist who's finding fault because they believe there's a causal relationship between the fault and preventing injury, that's admirable, although possibly mistaken. But if you find a specialist who's finding fault to just justify a client's need in their expertise, they're just using the number 1 rule in the salesman's handbook. Create a need in the customer. So if this ever happens to you, this is my advice. Ask the specialist who's testing you to perform the test first and demonstrate what will get a pass. I'll bet the standard they accept will suddenly drop immediately and dramatically. For more info on this, check out this brilliant short video. Tom Purvis explains in a few minutes, using Metal Morris, why squatting ATG without a buttwink is just not realistic for everybody. So if you found this helpful, give me the thumbs up, and if you like my vibe, please subscribe. Woo! Woo!